Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rusty and Sham.
And as always,
it's an up move! Alright, so today we are going to be having a conversation about weed.
Weed.
Yes.
High conversation, up move.
High conversation, crazy.
Today, guys, we have something special for you.
Ooh, it's a special thing.
From me. Oh, yeah, right here. Instead of a song, I wrote a poem just for you guys. I hope you like it.
I hope I'll like it too.
In this garden of Eden grows a delightful weed. The leaves are long, surrounding the bud, making it a sticky breed. It's said that it's bad, but some say it's good. This gem in nature is just misunderstood. They call it weed, ganja, pot, and Mary Jane. But I think marijuana is the name that got the fame. It's said to make you lazy. I think it just makes you chill. But it is better than taking a sleeping pill. Sometimes it can make you so hungry, if you're not careful, you'll be left with no money. In the past, it was illegal. It was banned. Now they admit it. It's just a plant. You can eat it, you can smoke it. Pretty much just the way you want. Nobody? No. Alright, whatever.
Yeah!
Whatever.
Okay.
Just remember, I did that one for you guys, so.
Hey, I mean, you described the weed. Sorry, marijuana. Yay, listen. Yeah, I think the poem was good. What do you guys think? You guys let us know what you guys think about Rusty's poem, okay? Alright. So our serious talk today, we said, is all about weed, just as Rusty's poem was talking about. Alright. So first off, why do people use weed?
Why do people use weed? Because they're anxious, maybe, and nervous, and recreational, yeah.
People use it for fun.
Just to have that high, as they say.
Yes.
To have fun. What do you think?
So, just like you said, people are anxious. There's people who use it as a coping mechanism, right? People use it for like medicine, right? And I'll say that in your poem you said something about sleeping, right? So some people, they have a hard time sleeping, for example.
Yeah.
So they use the weed to go and medicate themselves so that they can sleep. Or it also helps, like the CBD in weed. It helps with like your muscle joints and pain and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of positive benefits to weed.
Yeah, I believe that too, because I've used it before, made me sleep, took away some pain, like even when your brain is just have too much on it, and you do that, like it kind of just mellows
slows you down a little bit.
And it all depends on which one.
True, yeah.
Right? So
you did talk about which one. So there's obviously different strains, etc. Do you know what the strains are?
I want to tell you, I hear it flying around, Sativa and Indica. But where me come from, we just know say a weed or
it's how plants is right there. Go and check it out.
Yeah, I never know about this and that and
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there are special names now. You know that.
Well, people name their braids and whatever, however they make it, so they name it accordingly to how they feel that strand should be. But I know that, like you said, there's Sativa, there's Indica, and then there's a mixture of the two, so they call it hybrid. So I think just picking it up off of the ground and just saying, hey, this is weed and that's it, and that's the only knowledge that you have, it comes across where people give a negative stigma towards weed, because they just automatically say, hey, this is what makes you slow. This is, they just say negative
it slows
things.
Your brain down, everything.
Exactly. But if you choose a brand like Sativa, for example, it doesn't give that same effect as if you choose Indica.
Well, all right. Why me can't really just say that? Because a lot of people in our history, like very talented, very creative people, used to smoke it.
Yes, but that's Sativa, right? But at that time, just like you said, some people just picked it up off of the ground and they just, they just use it. But Sativa is more for the creatives, where they smoke it, they feel a little more energized, because there is some weed that makes you feel energized and more of a head high, if that makes sense, right? And so that energy gives them that little bit of creativity juices that they want from. And some people choose to do the Indica, and the Indica makes you more hungry, more sleepy, and the hybrid is just a mixture of both.
Well, there's questions from people. They wanted to know why do some people, when they smoke, it lowers their anxiety, brings it down, but then another set of people, it sends them into hyper mode, where they're more
all over the place and such.
And they're fretting about everything.
Yeah. So exactly what I was saying. There's different strands. So Indica makes you more tired, more on the chilled side, and you want to eat a whole bunch of stuff. To be honest, I think that too much of anything, right, is not good. So this is where the negative stigma comes in for the Indica, right? But if you know what your brand is, Sativa, they actually tell you that's where you feel that head high, like I was just saying. That's where you feel that creative. That's where you feel, and some people don't like that, to be honest. Some people just wants to just chill, and that's the reason why that they smoke, because they just want to chill, and that's what they know about weed, and that's it. But so like I said, Sativa, they give you that creative juices, and I used to smoke a lot of Sativa at one point. So for my personal experience, I was like, okay, let me just smoke this, enable for me to go and be creative and stuff. Now I don't necessarily need it. Again, different seasons at that pass, I was like, okay, I need it, but you really don't need it once you are aware.
But you see, me here talk about smoking a lot, right? More you have to kind of debunk this thing for the older people, and because anytime they hear about weed, they might think about puffing or smoking.
Yes.
Someone you kind of like clear that up for some of them, cause me no want them still demonize the thing like that, cause it's legal now. Come on, like
yes,
you know what I mean.
So there's different ways of taking in marijuana. So we mentioned smoking, and again, negative stigma. Now there's people who ingest it through food. What?
No, it's just when you started to go deep and say you started to explain. You don't call it weed no more. You start call it marijuana. So I say,
see?
Only when you're talking proper, it's oh no, it's marijuana. But if you're just talking like it's weed. But that's all me there.
Okay, but I see where I wasn't aware of myself there, so that's kind of funny. Actually, that you pointed that out.
Like when people go talk, it's marijuana. But if it's like some people on the corner that smoke, they're smoking weed. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, and
as soon as you say weed, to be honest, you think negative anyways. It's just because again, what you see on the grounds when you pull up on the ground. You want to pull up the weeds off the ground, so it automatically gives you that negative stigma. So I see where you're coming from.
I think, you see, guys will smoke weed. They hold it like this, kind of cool.
See.
But like if you're smoking marijuana, I think you should and the pinky has to be up. The pinky needs to be up.
It's a fancy thing.
Weed? What is weed? This is marijuana.
Marijuana.
So that's what that.
I hear what you're saying, but see how I was unaware of it? That's crazy to me. If you didn't point it out, But anyways, with marijuana, what I'm gonna say is that you don't necessarily just have to smoke it. You can drink it, eat it. People use it in clothes for hemp.
Yeah.
People, I'm seeing lip balms and like.
See that?
I'm seeing like oils where people cream their body up and stuff with the CBD oil.
One question: you have weed lip balm. Somebody kisses you. Do they get high or? No, that's asking.
You don't get high, but
okay. That's
the CBD. See, this is the reason why. Like the high feeling is from the THC of the plant. You know what I mean? And so the CBD, it's more. I would say more of a heal, and this is not even the right term to be honest, but it's more of a healing, agent. Does that make sense? So the THC gives you that high feeling, that active feeling,
Okay.
But when you have the CBD, you can go and help with their pain, your joints. People use it. I see people put it inside their smoothies, like the little oil, the CBD oil, and put it in their smoothies. And if I can say this, like it is very beneficial if you can separate the two. If you don't want that high feeling, I recommend CBD over all the time, every time. So.
But originally, they come as a pair.
Absolutely.
Okay. So then. Okay, I could see that. I could see that. So one is male, one is female type. If you're gonna say it that way, like one makes you.
Well, with everything, there's two sides to every coin.
Yeah.
So yes, you are right. There is I'm not saying positive and negative because I don't think that there's any positive and negative in the plant, but there is two sides to the weed, to marijuana, to.
So one is the healing and one is the psycho.
Yes.
So which one is the healer?
The healer would be the CBD.
So the CBD is the female or the male?
Oh, that's a female.
Oh, sure. But the other one is the psycho. The male is the psycho. That's what you said? That's what you said?
Hey, you said it. You said it.
Okay. What determines how weed affects a person?
Okay, what determines how weed affects a person?
Yes.
There's different ways. So you mentioned some in your poem. How does it? I'll throw that question back at you. You answered that.
I did it. It makes some people chill.
Yeah.
It makes some people crazy, actually. Well, seem crazy, not crazy, and.
It's the hallucinations and the delusions that they experience during it, why they have that crazy feeling and etc. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. And then you have some people where people consider as dumb. Like when they're around, people consider as dumb.
Yeah.
And then in that moment, they become philosophers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
What are common misconceptions of the weed? Like people think. I could give you one.
Yeah.
I could give you one. Viewer say, holding it in your lungs makes the effects better. Okay,
so that's a myth.
Okay.
And in my opinion, you guys can tell me that I'm wrong. You can tell me that I'm wrong.
No. The research said it is a myth. Yeah, it doesn't. There's no evidence to support. You don't get higher.
Yeah.
No.
I did hear that even some people were like, oh, if you smoke and you cough it, that's how you get high. Or if you eat it, that's another thing, like eating it.
Yeah, the eating part, you get a serious body high. I can tell you that still, and it lasts longer.
Yes.
Just write that shit out.
Yeah. I choose not to eat it. I had one bad experience and that was it for me, so I can't, because you can never, there's no way that you can overdose on weed, you know what I mean?
There was one more question where you can't overdose on weed, but they said you can. The research said you can, but it won't kill you.
Yes.
That's the only thing. You can be like real high, but you won't overdose.
Exactly. So like you can overdose on weed, and this is one thing why I don't eat edibles and all of that stuff, is because there is no way that you can even, measure how much THC is inside your food. You know what I mean? So I choose not to eat edibles. That's just not my
thing. But let me give you a story. Back home one night time, quick thing. A friend of mine, when police they pull up our way, him swallow the whole thing. Like he just swallowed it. It wasn't, and cause we don't know. Yeah. But then you get higher than high, like cause he swallowed it, and then the high
it's going into your bloodstream,
and it stays longer. So in that occasion, like sometimes you have to swallow it, cause you got jail instead. So
that will never happen to me. But what I'm trying to say is that like with weed, if you ingest it, like it's not gonna be like a pill, how they give you drugs and all of that stuff, pills and all of that stuff. You can overdose on that. You can overdose on alcohol. You can overdose on all of these other things that they call drugs. Now, this natural product is so like downplayed, and people hating on it, and it's like it's the one thing that actually you don't actually overdose to a fatal situation,
All right. Different from them question. You see, remember, I try to remember me say it in an episode. I say it in an episode already, but I'm gonna say it again. With Bob Marley, one big icon. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Remember them time the weed was getting a fight, and he was smoking it the same way. He was doing his thing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And they saw him as somebody outstanding in society, and he was doing that same way. Yeah. Right? Jamaica, they had him on the billboard for tourists to see when they fly in. True. But at the same time, Jamaicans were getting locked up for a spliff. True. Not no big portion, but a spliff. Yeah. But you as a tourist coming down seeing that billboard, you assume that people down there, it's normal for them, and the cops won't trouble them because they can come down and smoke it and not be harassed because they're tourists. Right. But it was not so. Just so you guys know. That's an interesting fact. It's funny too because in Canada, like it's shown that that's what Jamaicans do. Those people who have like locks, especially, they only smoke and do nothing all day. That's the stigma that's on, even with the locks, and I think we spoke about it, right? Those who have locks, they're scary, they smoke, and this is just a negative stigma that we're trying to break down, and hopefully we can continue to break down. But some people tell us that more people in Canada smoke than in Jamaica. And I believe that. And a lot of Rastas that you see, they don't smoke. And now that I have more knowledge, I believe that. Okay, so that's just something more and put out there so people can know. Yes. To be honest, I think that there is benefits to it, but then there's also, so let me go to this side where, because everything that you do, there's a high vibration, high energy to everything, okay? Okay. So I was just speaking to a individual, right? And she said that she used to be a really big stoner. I mean, she smoked 1, 2, 3 all day. Be a ganja, yeah. You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay. So she used to smoke. Again, everybody does things for different reasons. Yeah. She said she did it because she wanted to go and help her anxiety. And it helped with her anxiety and her depression and etc. Right? However, she doing it all the time for a long period of time. It didn't feel good to her, and that she got more anxious. Okay. Right? So remember when I was saying that too much of anything is not good? Yeah. Right? So where I'm going with this is doing it for a short period of time to medicate yourself is okay. But if you're stuck on something, doing it too much, that's when you get the term of stoners, and then that's where your energy is now less
of I'm using this as a medical thing, but I'm using it more of a coping mechanism.
Alright, I could get in on a question then. So then it's addictive then?
No, yeah, I don't think it's addictive because I know many people who can pick it up and then drop it and pick it up and use it when they need it. But there's other people who just likes it and it's just used to it, and so again they're stuck in their comfort zone. So this has been helping them in the beginning, and so they got stuck on that comfort zone and they just took it.
Alright.
Yeah, but I know many people who just stops and then takes it up and then stops again.
There was another question where I'm never really sure about, but I want to ask. Is marijuana safe to use during pregnancy and breastfeeding? Do you think?
How are you taking it? Like, if you're smoking it, I would say no.
But otherwise?
But if you're like eating it and all of that stuff, I don't think so.
Well,
but again, that's not like, because if you're smoking it, I'm thinking it's close to like cigarettes where you're inhaling the smoke. It's going to cause some type of issue to the baby's brain. So maybe even making them slower, maybe giving them a short attention span, etc. Like the list can go on, you know what I mean? So
the study done was saying that it does something to the baby's brain.
Okay.
So I don't know, like they didn't specify if it's with smoking or ingested.
Okay.
So, but that's what they said.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So to be honest, I wouldn't do anything too much when you are pregnant. If you're pregnant with your baby, you want to go and make sure and ensure that the health of the baby is good. So for me, I definitely still wouldn't recommend it, even if they say it is safe. But again, each person, I can't judge you if you want to use it while you're pregnant. It's just, I wouldn't recommend it.
But you do realize it's that escape people look for, why most people use it.
Yeah.
It's that, you know, because society is a sort of like, you know, it gets to you and you need a little escape if you can't physically escape.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is the reason why I mentioned like to use it in that time where you need it, because it is a medical. We use it for a medical purpose, but try not to be like too comfortable with it. Just use it for the time that you need it, and once you start feeling good about yourself again, and it's not easy. So obviously, words is easy to just say than to actually do. But try and wean yourself off. So if you're doing it all day, try and do it like, you know, a little less each day until
all right.
So forth.
Like what you said, that let me just make a small public announcement. You see the same way you're not supposed to use weed all the time, and you tell people or these young kids, oh, you can't smoke weed all the time. You can't just eat lettuce alone. You can't eat lettuce alone. There's so much other plants. You can't just eat broccoli. You can't just eat kale alone.
Yeah.
There's enough more different plants you can eat. Oh, what am I gonna eat? Are you serious?
Well.
So the same way you can't really just use that one. There's so much more.
Yes, and I agree with that. Okay, so I wanted to go and move forward because we always say that weed is a drug. Marijuana is a drug. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
All right. But we have pharmacies, right?
Word.
They're the biggest drug dealers that are allowed to sell you things that you can't even pronounce.
You do not know what's in it.
At all. And yet, because these doctors are telling you that this is okay, this is healthy, to use these pills. But then I think they have like certain things that you read the fine print.
Yeah.
What I tell you?
Under that, I'm going to get myself a white coat too. Because I think it's the white coat and maybe a pair of spectacles. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a white coat because I think that's what it is. Once you're in a white coat and glasses, that's it. You're done.
You can say anything?
Anything.
But the thing is, these pills, the side effects, there's suicidal side effects, and there's what else? Depression.
Exactly.
Sometimes
The small print, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know about weed doing that to nobody.
Have you ever watched those commercials and they are like, this drug is so good, talk to your pharmacist or your doctor, it's for you, and blah blah blah, and then in the small print that you barely can see at the very bottom, at the very ending of the commercial.
No, they say it.
Oh, they say it
speed it up. They say it super fast. Oh, consult your doctor before taking this.
See if it's right for you. Now, my question on that aspect is, if this plant doesn't give you any overdose, but it can.
Well, they say it gives you overdose, which means you're not the intended high. You're like, woo.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes, but it doesn't. It gives you high, and then you sleep it off, and then you're good the next day.
Yeah, right.
Right. With these pills now, it can be fatal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can be.
So for me, I'm like, I would rather have more people going towards the natural way than to go through a man-made way, because with men and like a human, I should say, with human, there is room for error, and so I do not trust that. Like this plant was already put on this earth, and like I said, not everything you should touch and so forth, but it's been proven that it's good for medical tendencies or usage. So for me, I'm like, I would rather go and have the plant as opposed to using these pills, because I can tell you a lot of the elderly are using these pills, right? And they are more depressed than ever. They are more anxious than ever. They are more angry than ever, because there are side effects that says that there's anger in some of these pills. And like you said, with marijuana, you're chilled, right?
Yeah.
If you're chilled, you are at more peace. When you look at the ocean, you want it to be more chilled. You don't want those big,
What they say is sometimes it makes you forget, right? But then sometimes you think about it. As a lot of people have gone through so much, so much trauma, so much things. Sometimes it's good to forget.
Yeah, it's a temporary forget.
Yeah, but at least you get to forget at some point.
Yes.
If you're not forgetting at all, that runs you to a wreck. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't recommend having like the forgetfulness. I would just say like the most thing that it would be like the best thing to do is not for that moment, forget. But this is why I said use it for a short period of time, because you also need to heal from that trauma or whatever that pain is that you have. So you don't want to forget all your life or for a long time. You know what I mean?
It won't. I'm just saying people say that.
Yes.
But they don't realize sometimes it's not people that people forget. They're way too chill to care. Like you assume they forget, but they're way too chill to care. I'm over it. 'Cause I'm groovy, baby. Like you understand what I'm saying? Like I'm way too chill to care. Like
absolutely,
I'm groovy.
All right. So final verdict. What do you think about what do you feel about weed? Like, would you recommend it more than other substances? Would you say this is it? Like, what is your final thoughts on marijuana?
Well, from the very wise words of a guy from back home, he's not really famous anymore, but this artist called Roundhead, he's always said, weed is life, just face reality. His talk came to pass. It's not just Bob Marley that was saying it. Like that guy was saying, he was like, weed is life, just face reality. We're facing it right now.
That's it.
So I feel like it's better than all those drugs that they take.
I will always say whatever God or the universe put onto the earth, is more better than something that is man-made. And I will say, for anybody who is judging somebody else, I mean, just kind of stay into your lane, look into your own lane, because you're probably doing some other type of drugs that the doctors are recommending you. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, but Advil, all of those, like over the counter, they're drugs.
Exactly. So let's break down that stigma.
Oh no, these are prescription.
Oh, because the doctor recommended.
Yeah, lean was prescription. Opioids were prescriptions.